Hey guys, I'm currently in my sleeping system, just about to crash for the night. Yeah, this is it. So this will be night one. It's September 1st, 2017. So if I'm successful in this little challenge, I will be continuing these videos each day until September 1st, 2018. So, wish me luck, I guess. It's pretty warm in here. This is not going to be fun on the tail end of this challenge because I'm going to have to be sleeping out here in pretty warm weather. Right now it's not even that warm. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but come next summer it's going to be nice and toasty. So hopefully I make it till then. I'm excited to see if I can do it. The psychological challenges are the toughest by far, especially for me, because I may be in a good frame of mind right now, and then a month from now I might be really tired one day and just not feel like doing the same thing, and I could be in a totally different mindset, and it's tough, but sometimes those things happen, so it can be difficult to deal with. But so hopefully this will give me a chance to exercise a little bit of self-control and try to maintain a positive mindset for 365 consecutive days, if that's even possible. So here we go, I guess. So a little bit about the sleeping system. It is, everything about this sleeping system is inside of a Gore-Tex. It's just a waterproof material, basically a rain fly. This is attached to my utility belt. I've got a kind of a bandolier shoulder strap thing that has different tools that I use, and one of them is a knife. I don't know if you can see it. It's my kukri, and I'm using that for the pole to hold up the outer layer so that I have a little bit of airspace in here. And I've got the top of that handle is a pair of leather gloves just for cushioning so it doesn't rip through the material, because this stuff is a bit flimsy. If you have anything sharp pushing through it, it can tear. It's pretty good material though. It's Gore-Tex is designed to breathe while being waterproof. It's supposed to be a breathable, waterproof fabric, which is quite an accomplishment compared to most other fabrics that can be waterproof, but then they don't breathe very good. So, whoops. So yeah. And then I got my old Betty here. Keep me safe in the night. So basically this is training for any camping that I would have to do on mountain climbs and stuff like that. So this whole system is self-contained. Basically it's a series of comforters, down-filled comforters. I don't know what this one's filled with. I think it's Goose Down 600. The measurement unit that they use for measuring down, 600. And and then I have 2 other ones that are 800 that I combined into one really thick comforter, and I use those ones in the wintertime. So this is my summertime one, and I basically sleep on top of it unless it gets chilly. I usually start off pretty hot in the night, and then as I'm about to fall asleep, my body cools down, and then I bundle up in the blankets a bit more. So it's pretty tough around here because the temperature fluctuates a lot within a 24-hour period, and also it's really humid here, so that makes each type of temperature a little bit more difficult to deal with than it would be normally for most people, because you know, like humid cold will affect you more than dry cold within a certain temperature range. Obviously, once it gets to a certain temperature, all the moisture in the air freezes, and then it's all dry cold after that temperature. I don't know what that temperature is, but around here it's a lot of wet cold in the wintertime, and in the summertime it's so hot and humid that your sweat doesn't function the way it's supposed to. So it's really hard to keep yourself cool in the summertime. So, and then when it's not really hot or really cold, the wind's blowing 100 miles an hour. So that's always fun. So there's always challenges with this type of weather, or this type of climate. So that kind of keeps things interesting, which is why I designed this. This was kind of difficult to come up with the complete design for this sleeping system, because I wanted something that I could operate in year-round, instead of like having a special system for cold weather and a special system for hot weather. I wanted one system that I could use any time of year, and I also wanted one system that I could use just by itself, not like inside a tent. I wanted a shelter as well as warmth. So that's why I did it with this rainfly, and that's why I'm not just in a normal sleeping bag. And the reason I wanted this to have shelter built into it, for one thing, at the time when I was designing it, I wanted it to be stealthy, like low profile. And so this thing is 13 inches tall. That's it. Whereas a normal tent would be like 3 or 4 feet tall, or maybe some of them even taller. And they stick out. And so it gives you a higher profile. Not that that's super important for anything that I actually do. I just kind of like the stealth factor. I thought it was pretty cool. And this thing's brown on the outside. You can't really tell it in the camera, but that's a very common color around here in both the summertime and the wintertime. So that's why I chose that color. They called it coyote brown. And then the other thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to be able to get into this without having to get undressed out in the weather. Mainly like in the rainy seasons when it's pouring rain, I wanted to be able to get in this while it's raining without getting my bedding all wet and without getting my clothing all wet. So the way I set this up, it's extra long down at the foot. Actually, it's extra long at the top too, for like my bag and anything that I would need to have access to at any point. I put it up above my head, and then I've got an open spot down by my feet, so I crawl in the system underneath the rainfly down by my feet, and it's got a little area where it's got some extra slack, so I can sit in there upright. And while I'm sitting down there, I can pull off my coat, my jacket, all that stuff, and then I can get undressed down at the bottom, take off my boots, and then I crawl up through the blankets, and then I'm into my sleeping system up here. And in that way, I never have to get my sleeping system like muddy or wet, and I can keep everything separate and dry that way. And then it's also pretty handy in the wintertime too, so that I don't have to get undressed outside, like if the wind's blowing or if it's snowing, whatever. It's just so cold that it throws you into shock, and it's too exhausting to have to get undressed outside. So again, I just do it down at the foot of this sleeping system, and then I crawl up through the blankets, and then I'm good to go, and I am fairly comfortable. This thing is still quite a challenge to keep warm in some nights in the wintertime, but it works really well for the most part. Every once in a while I slip out of the blankets and wake up with a numb foot, or sometimes my face is numb when I wake up, and so I gotta warm myself back up if I roll out of the blankets or something. But for the most part, it does pretty well. So yeah, tonight, since it's pretty warm out, I didn't bring a coat. Normally I would have my coat be my pillow so that I don't have to pack a pillow. I like to have things things with a dual function. So this bottle is my pillow for tonight, at least until I fall asleep. And then I don't actually sleep on a pillow. Usually once I get comfortable enough, I just lay my head down flat on the ground. Anyways, yeah, I think I've got everything pretty well prepared. Still somewhat early in the night, but I'm gonna play around on my phone a little bit until I fall asleep. So I'll catch you guys in the morning. Hopefully I don't miss too much sleep. The struggle here, as far as sleeping outside goes, there's a lot of noises. I live up on a hill, and I also live within city limits of it's a small town, but we have a railroad station or a railroad track that goes by the south end of town. And so as the trains go through the crossing, they're required to honk their horn a certain amount of times. And so every morning at like 6 a.m. or something, or maybe it's even earlier than that, I can't remember, they honk their horns, and it's really annoying, and usually wakes me up for like the first week until I get tired enough where I just sleep right through it, and then I just kind of get used to things. So that'll be another small challenge, but that one's not the end of the world. I've slept through a lot of nights with that going on. It's pretty fun to listen to the coyotes when they first come out, because it just sounds like they're so loud. I'm pretty sure there's some like right next to my pasture where I'm at, because they're so loud when they come out. They may even be like within 50 feet of me, because there's a bank right over there that they could very easily have a den dug in. So yeah, that's pretty fun. And then also I like to lean out the edge here, and usually I spend quite a bit of time looking at the stars when the sky is clear. Tonight it's cloudy, so it's nothing to look at, but normally I would look out there and look at the stars and stuff, and that's kind of fun. See a lot of shooting stars that way. But yeah, that's about all I can think of to say right now, so I'll see you guys in the morning.